how serious is this risk? But also generally, what lessons can be learned from other countries that perhaps have been in the same situation?
The issue of elections in Africa, they have always been a contested activity, and elections have always been a contested terrain. But it is unfortunate that for us, we've always been looking for, remember I come from Zimbabwe, we've always been looking towards countries like Tanzania and Zambia as frameworks for countries that allow presidents to come and go. You remember the first president of independent Tanzania was President Julius Nyerere in 1965, and there were other 5 presidents who came after him. You remember Ali Hassan Mwinyi, Benjamin Mkapa, Jakaya Kikwete, President John Paul Magufuli, and now Ms. Hassan, who is obviously trying to do what has not been done. We've also seen it in Zambia in 1964 when President Kaunda came over 6 other presidents came after him in 1991, up to President Hakainde Hichilema, people like Rupia Banda, Michael Sata came over. So this has been a good framework for African countries. For countries like Zimbabwe, we've been having a single president since 1980, only having Robert Mugabe, and later on preceded by his bodyguard, Emerson Mnangagwa, who is equally now at the moment also trying to lacerate the Zimbabwean constitution by extending a constitutional 10-year limit from 10 years to infinity. So this is when elections fail to hold water, basically it takes back the continent to dictatorships, to autocracy, which we think we do not want in our region.
Amnesty International coming out, the EU Parliament coming out as well, various observers having already condemned the elections as fraudulent. What kind of international pressure can be effective in situations like this, especially when a government appears to be defiant?
Well, I think this is a very important issue that you're raising, because Amnesty International has already confirmed 2 deaths, which is the death of a police officer and a civilian. We have seen that roads are being barricaded. For example, the one from the airport. We have seen civil servants asked to work from home since Wednesday. It's chaos, my brother. It's chaos. And the night curfews, which were synonymous to what we experienced during apartheid in South Africa and in Zimbabwe. And this cause international shutdowns. I think the kind of international pressure that can come to Tanzania, basically, in my view, has to come firstly from the region and the sub-region. Remember, with the Organization of African Unity, which is now AU, since 2002, I think this is the regional bloc which must have the stamina to call Hassan to order, and obviously to make sure that these elections, the fraudulent elections, are made to be a reflection of the people's voice. But remember, we also have a regional blocks, my brother. It's not only the AU at regional levels, sub-regional levels, like ECOWAS, SADC. In this case, we have SADC formed in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 1992, and one of the key intentions was to make sure that there is peace in the region. So SADC must rise up to the occasion. SADC must bring back the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of unity and progress in the region by making sure that they do not protect each other. Because remember, Chama Pinduza is a liberation movement, usually protected by liberation movements like ZANU-PF, like ANC and Frelimo, who are also known to be doing cantankerous things in their own country. So they need to rise up to the occasion. The citizens must demand SADC to come and attack.
Reports of people crossing into Kenya to escape the clashes and even fatalities along the border. How do we see this perhaps spilling over into a regional issue, especially given Tanzania's importance in East African politics?
I think this critical demonstration of the Ubuntu, the spirit of Ubuntu that I just raised, that you are because I am because you are. Ubuntu kaband. Even if you go within the Christian doctrine and the Judaism doctrine, they advise that you need to love your neighbor as you love yourself. In the Christian Bible, it's Leviticus 19 verse 18. Basically, this is a serious demonstration of the fact that an injustice anyway is a threat to justice ever. What the people of Kenya have done is simply it's an unprecedented act of solidarity. It is only synonymous to what we experienced during the liberation wars in our country. My brother, you would be aware that, for example, Nelson Mandela was arrested in 1962, where he went for the second prison trial. One of the key reasons as to why he was being arrested is because he had crossed over the border illegally from South Africa, and he went to Kenya, for example. He went to Tanzania, which was led by the able leadership of President Julius Nyerere, and he was given solidarity there. The same Nyerere was hosting Zimbabwean comrades, Zipra and Zanla fighters in Gagao, who assisted amongst other frontline states. This was the Africanness which you know. If one country is being persecuted and prosecuted, human life is sacrosanct. We are one people. We are not divided. This fact of being called individual countries is an outcome of the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. It's an outcome of the scramble and partition for Africa. So we need to stand with each other under these circumstances. I would advise other surrounding countries, the youth in they must also voice their voices by demonstrating within their countries, and even if possible, besiege and getting Tanzania instead of the oppressed people of Tanzania. This is the spirit which you want. This is what you know as Africans.
Treasure, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Aluta continua.
Treasure Basopo is a human rights activist speaking to us on, or assessing rather, the situation in Tanzania that has escalated in major cities as opposition supporters denounce Wednesday's presidential and parliamentary elections as a sham. Hundreds of demonstrators already crossing into Kenya's territory, barricading roads, lighting bonfires and tearing down protests and posters of President Samia Hassan along the way. We've seen Kenyan police say 2 people died after fleeing running battles with Tanzanian police. Anger grew really more intensely yesterday after the Electoral Commission started announcing results, with Samia getting nearly 95% of the vote in southwestern Beira province. She's also taken the lead in many other constituencies on the mainland and in Zanzibar. The EU has come out and called the election a fraud that has been unfolding for months. So an intense situation. We really haven't seen much from the region in terms of countries coming and commenting on this particular issue. We've seen the seemingly close relationship that President Ndaitwah has had with Samia Suluhu Hassan, especially the similarities in them being female presidents of their countries. They recently had a discussion on how the 2 countries can move from strong political friendships to strong economic cooperation. You all remember President Ndaitwah had that visit when she went to Tanzania in around May this year.